I'm trying to figure out the truth of the matter is, am I getting crappy leads or am I a crappy salesman? And I, I know I'm not a crappy salesman, but I know I could be better. And so when I talk to pretty much everybody but Logan, they're all, come on, Steve, keep your head up. You can do it, blah, blah, blah. But Logan, because he feels comfortable enough to say whatever the hell he wants to say to me, he will start pushing my buttons. And basically, like the other day, he calls me up and goes, hey, Dad, the lady you just talked to on the phone about, the price, and you ballparked her, you gave her the low price and the high. I'm like, how do you even know I was talking to someone on the phone? Oh, I record them. When they hit a certain campaign and they call you, it records your phone call automatically. So I can listen in on the phone call to see if you're doing your job, being a good salesman. Or what he's trying to do is glean information to maybe tweak our marketing. So how many of you would like that? How many of you would like someone listening to your phone calls like Big Brother for the sole purpose of making it all better? But the point we come around to basically is I ain't winning. 2-3 years ago, I turned one third of everybody who sent me pictures, I turned it into money. Last year, I turned 20% of everybody I talked to into money. Like that too, but I'm going backwards. This year, and Logan, I don't even know if you have the count. I don't even count this stuff anymore. The CRM does it for me. I don't even think I've closed 10% this year. Because I just feel like all these people just don't want to pay what I want to charge. And I will tell you one thing, I am doing a piss poor job convincing them that what I want to charge them is worth it. They don't see the worth in that. It's, Logan talked about the Jiffy Lube today scenario. You can get your oil change at Jiffy Lube for $21, or I could take my Lexus to the Lexus dealership, and Jesus Christ, they say it's $39, but it's $500 by the time I roll out of there. And some people go, but there's a different experience at Lexus than certainly there is at Jiffy Lube. And some people just look at it all like Jiffy Lube, like, okay, screw it, I'll get somebody else to change my oil. And you're sitting there, no matter what you do, thinking you are better than everybody else, and you're going to provide a better experience, so therefore you should get paid more. And it goes round and round from there. So this is my frustration. I am making it very public because I have a funny feeling I am not alone. Tell me in the chat box right now, on a scale from 1 to 10, like my frustration level is probably at an 8 or 9. I'm as frustrated as I've ever been. Tell me where your frustration level is with your leads, your closure rate, the quality of the customers that are actually sending you leads. So I'm interested to see on a scale from 1 to 10 is awesome. 1 is they're total shit. They're just not good leads for you. Logan, what say you?
The idea behind all this is really to figure out, is it a marketing thing? Is it a sales thing? Is it a combination of both? And if so, how do you make the two work harmoniously, right? So what I have here is kind of the graph or relationship between needing to sell somebody on what you're giving them versus how much value do they actually see in what you have to offer, right? And the whole thing really comes down to this quote that Tony Robbins said, so it's got to be true. You're paid for the value you add, not the value you are. Okay? So again, it's what you're actually going to provide in somebody's life, not how you feel about yourself. So the issue, and let me just take the pawn stuff, for example. I had a really good call with Derek yesterday. I talked to Tom, talked to Wayne, talked to Derek. Derek calmed me down. And he pretty much said, look, everybody who's coming out right now is the same as the same people that came out last year at this time and the year before. And it's all these people that are new to the world, and they have no idea what's really going on, so they don't know what this stuff costs, right? So for them, you just kind of deal with these people right now until you get to next, in like the next few weeks when all the good people come in. All right. So that's part of it. This is just stuff just happens. Now, if you actually look at the graph is how much value add is perceived versus the need to sell to them, it's, I guess, reverse, it's like logarithmic or whatever you want to call it. But pretty much the people who are your customers, right, that have already spent money with you, you could pretty much sell them whatever the hell you want, right? That's how a lot of ours are at Premier, like the ones that they just go, you know what, just bill me. Those are the best ones because they know how much value this stuff really is. So they're down here. So there's not really much of a need to sell them. All right, so that's really what it comes down to is as how much do they already feel that you're adding value to their life. Then you got on the flip side, you get the people who are brand new. You got your Angie's List, your Home Advisor, your Thumbtacks. And a lot of these people, and I know from just conversations, a lot of the people that are calling up my dad right now or Tom or somebody else and they want their pond cleaned, they're not people that actually put the pond in, right? They moved into the house, they've been using somebody else or whatever the situation is, but they weren't the ones that actually put it in. So they probably don't have that love of their pond. They've never gotten to experience what an amazing pond is. They pretty much inherited a house with a burden. It's like moving into a home and saying, oh, by the way, there's a cat that's going to run around here. You got to feed it all the time. Once a year, you got to take it to the vet. And then now you're calling the vet up and the vet's saying, yep, it's going to be $3,000 this year. And you're like, well, shit, I'll just kill the goddamn thing before I take it to the vet for $3,000. And that's how a lot of these people are that are coming in. So a lot of us are getting mad because nobody's really experienced the love of a pond. Yet when they call you up, you want them to all of a sudden pay you all this money to get that love when they don't know what it's like. And it's like, this is why when you go and get a car, you can test drive it. You get 3 days to drive around to see how much you love it. And it's way easier to buy because you get to experience it. A lot of these people have never been there, so they don't know how much value you can actually add to their life because you'll actually make their pond look great or their kitchen look great or whatever it is because they just don't know. So that's really what a big part of this is people are just, they're ignorant to the idea that this really could be a game changer for their marriage or hanging out with family. They just don't know any of that because they've never gotten that experience because they've always had this dumpy pond that may have just been a burden since day one. Does that make sense to everybody what I'm talking about here?
So here, let me give a couple thoughts on this as well. I've been jotting some things down throughout the day that since I knew we were going to have this conversation. I wish it would segue perfectly with Logan. It may or may not. But guys, here's the thing. I know we're talking ponds here and stuff. Certainly this isn't just ponds. Now, if you're having a hard time closing deals with all the people that I work with and coach one-on-one and conversations I have and this and that, I usually see it come down to like 4 main areas. Okay. And the first is your mindset. Like you're just expecting, like I talked to somebody the other day and they're like, I'm laying out all this value. I'm contracting around the pain. I'm digging for the pain. I'm doing all this. And in my mind, I just know the other shoe's going to drop and they're going to tell me I'm too expensive. And guys, not to get woo-woo and stuff, Derek can do that, but this is what you put into your brain and what you expect is going to frickin' happen. And I have sabotaged myself so many times through the years by just going like, yeah, I know I'm going to go to this bid today. I'm going to be twice as much as everybody else because I'm the only guy in the town that knows my damn numbers. And I'm going to be way higher. And you start telling yourself this story. So I want to encourage you to get your mindset in check. Second thing is you're complicating the process. I don't know how, but I've seen it in all different industries. You have to make it really easy to work with you. And complicating the process might not even be a process thing. It might be a spirit of the conversation thing. And I see this with the people that get into Shin Fu early and they get all bold and they're like, I don't charge, or I charge for estimates and I'm not coming out there for free. And they have this screw you spirit behind it. Okay. So you could say the same words, share the same process, but if your spirit isn't good, That's complicating the process because you're putting a barrier up. Okay, guys, this process that we follow is what, since Logan brought up Tony Robbins, is what Tony Robbins would call a pattern interrupt. Type the box right now. What is the current sales pattern in the contracting world? I'll give you 10 seconds to type something. See, that's the pattern. And what we're doing is we're going timeout. We're interrupting the pattern. We're throwing a wrench in this whole gear thing and doing things differently. And if your spirit is not good, if it's not dialed in and you're not practiced, it's complicating the process because they can't see it the way you see it, and don't expect them to see it. Third thing I see all the time, three and four are kind of one altogether. You're not priced right. You are not priced right. I'm not saying Steve is or isn't or anything like that. Okay, I'm sure he is because I know he's been dialed in his numbers and stuff. But I see this, I'm just being as honest as I can. I see it more with the pond guys than anybody else, is because somebody gets $1,000 for a clean out, you think you have to get $1,000 for a clean out, when in reality you could have sold the thing for $450 or $500 and made a 50%. You screwed yourself. Okay, worry about your numbers. Don't worry about anyone else's number. And this ties in to also the concept of getting in the damn yard, getting in the door at the lowest, most pain-free dollar amount you can. Don't sell past yes, all that stuff. I see it with you landscape designers, stuff like that. We over-design a project. I used to do it with painting. I'd go in and somebody would want a whole house painted, just the walls, and I would be a stupid idiot, and I'd go, they're like, yeah, that 20 grand sounds good. And I go, well, hey, while we're at it, here it comes. The minute we paint these walls, the trim's not going to look good, and then we're going to have to do the ceilings and blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, they're going, all right, time out. We should get some other bids and all this other crap. And I just talked myself out of a sale that I had in the bag because I didn't go, I sold past yes. All right. Another thing here, guys, and then I'll shut up. And Derek, I'm sure you got something way in here if you want to, and anyone else. Understand that what you're selling, are you selling a luxury item like a water feature or a backyard kitchen, or are you selling a necessity? When somebody buys a house and all the walls are pink, they're in great shape and the floors are beautiful and everything's awesome, but the walls in the frickin' house are all pink. Now somebody's pissed off. They're like, gosh darn it, why couldn't it just been beige or tan or some off-white I could live with for a year? Now I got to paint the stupid house. Now I got to fix the frickin' plumbing or whatever, fill in the blank. And so guys, you have a different buyer's mindset based on what they're buying from you. And you got to make sure you have that empathy and you put yourself in their shoes and really connect with them on those things. And then the overall thing here is people just don't know. They just don't know what things cost. So be patient with them. All right. Remember that, yeah, everyone's not a fit, but get your mind right. Don't complicate the process. Make sure you're priced right. And at the end of the day, remember that they just don't know. So be patient because whatever that spirit is that's coming out of you, they're going to feel it.